For the listeners who have never heard of the real effects of cannabis or different types of strains and what kind of purposes they have for us, let's go down to the basics and talk about that. So, could you explain to us the different types of strains of cannabis?
Sure. So in terms of cannabis is the main, beginning, and then we drop down into the different strains. And there's arguments. I have to tell you, it's so funny. Even up till today, there's still arguments on strains and whether or not it's a different strain or not, or whether it's all under one umbrella. But this is all cannabis. So you have hemp, which there was also misnomers. They was named incorrectly. I write about that in the book too. So I didn't want to put too much in there because it's confusing enough as it is. But yes, it was misnamed for a few decades as well. So you have basically hemp we'll put in the separate category. It's actually technically cannabis sativa, but I don't want to confuse. Hemp has less than 0.3% THC and much higher levels of CBD. That's the legal definition here in the United States. So that is technically legal now here. The other strains we have are cannabis indica and cannabis sativa, and these are THC dominant plants. So they've been bred to have more THC, although every cannabis strain has a combination of both. It's just what are the levels of each. And so with an indica strain, the terpenes tend to lean more towards a more relaxing type of a feeling, often drowsy. So patients can use this for sleep, where a sativa is often used for depression. I've seen patients with severe intractable depression do very, very well on sativas. This is just a guideline. Cannabis is a plant that has THC, CBD, and 100 plus other cannabinoids in different concentrations, and hemp has THC in less than 0.3%. That's pretty much the definitions that we're going by right now. So that's about it.
And what are terpenes?
Terpenes are the smells and the tastes of the cannabis plant. So oftentimes we have vape oils that will have terpenes added to them, and if they're not directly from the cannabis plant, they are also used from food. So linalool, which I had mentioned before, that's the active smell that's in lavender. So it's used a lot for relaxation. We have beta-myrcene, I think is the one that's a little bit peppery. So beta-carotene is a little bit of a peppery type of a smell. We have limonene, which smells like lemon and more of a citrus smell. And these actually do have effects. I had some strains are very lemony and citrusy, and I had a patient who was allergic to lemons who had to watch it because she'd get itchy if she used strains with too much limonene. So they do contribute significantly to the final outcome of how the plant's going to feel. THC by itself, we have isolated that in the United States in a synthetic form called Marinol, and patients did not like it. It's the entourage effect, which is discussed in the book and discussed regularly, where all of the combination of the cannabinoids and all the combination of the terpenes and flavonoids come together to give that final feeling. And if you just isolate one, that's more of a pharma mentality. And so the terpenes add significant value to each strain.